What's up, PSGINT family? It's your boy PSGINT here, and today I will be going through every nation at the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, and I will pick one player that will be the nation's best player this tournament, or at least the expectations on that player coming from this season. And of course, experience has a big toll. First nation is the host nation. It's Qatar. AKRAM AFIF. I saw him at the Arab Cup playing against Algeria, and he's really good. He's a really technical midfielder that links, the entire team together, and he will be the ones to watch from this Qatar team. Of course, Qatar will play the first game of the World Cup, so remember the name AKRAM AFIF. I also believe that he's the captain as well, and it's not hard to see him with that big afro. Next up, we have Moses Caicedo in the Ecuadorian national team. Has had a very good season so far with Brighton FC, and was a big role in Ecuador making the World Cup with 4 goals and 2 assists in CONMEBOL World Cup qualifications. So Moses Caicedo, look out for him. Look out for him. Next up, from Senegal, as we all know, Sadio Mane will come back, but will probably miss the 2 first games. And we all know about Koulibaly and Mendy, who have had, I don't know, iffy seasons with Chelsea FC this season. I mean, Mendy is not even the starting goalkeeper anymore, whilst Boulaye Dia has been performing very good for Salernitana in Serie A, bagging goals more goals than he got last season for Villarreal. And with, as I said, Sadio Mane out for the first 2 games, Boulaye Dia will be very important for Senegal if they want to make it through the group stages. Next up, we have the Netherlands. I mean, there's a lot of great players in the Netherlands national team. Frenkie de Jong, Memphis Depay, KUDUS, Gakpo as well. But the form Xavi Simons is in, I think it's between him and KUDUS Gakpo. One of them will perform big, and I think Xavi Simons is coming to this World Cup very similarly to what Memphis Depay was coming to the World Cup in 2014. So the 2 names I have for Netherlands, it's KUDUS Gakpo and Xavi Simons. Those 2 players will ball definitely at this World Cup. Next up, from England, and I think the pressure this time goes on Jude Bellingham. We have seen all the other players in the English national team, and of course, if I had to pick one player, the boring answer would be Harry Kane, who was their top goal scorer and the top goal scorer in the last World Cup. But I believe that after Jude Bellingham's really good performances for Dortmund this past couple of seasons, he really needs to put a big foot in this World Cup and perform for the English national team, because if he can perform at the level he's performing for Dortmund, England will be unstoppable at this World Cup. From Iran, it's very simple. It's Mehdi Taremi, probably the best Iranian of all time, scoring goals for fun in the Champions League this season, taking Porto in the first spot in the Champions League. So he will be the lookout for the Iranian national team, which are one of my underdogs at this World Cup. Next up, we have Wales, and I mean, they have some great players, but it's Gareth Bale. When it comes to the Wales national team, as Bale said, it's Wales, golf, and then Madrid. Wales is so important for Gareth Bale, and he has actually been performing over in the United States, so him coming back for the national team will only be good for him and the Wales national team. So I'm hoping for one last big tournament from Gareth Bale. Argentina, it's simple. I mean, the other player apart from Lionel Messi would have probably been Lautaro Martinez, who has had an incredible season so far for Inter Milan. But of course, it has to be La Polga, Lionel Messi. After his horrendous season last season, he just came back with another storm for this season and has been performing incredibly for Paris Saint-Germain and the Argentinian national team this season. Most goal contributions this season, just warming up for that World Cup. So we will see a big last tournament from Lionel Messi, maybe even lifting the World Cup. Next up, from Saudi Arabia, we have Salem Al-Daswari. Last World Cup, Saudi Arabia, as we all know, were not that good at all, but he was the only shining thing from that Saudi Arabian national team, and he got the winner against Egypt in the last group stage game. So I believe Salem Al-Daswari from the Saudi Arabian national team will be a good lookout. Mexico, as we all know, Raul Jimenez has not performed well this season. Same thing goes for his club Wolves, who are sitting lost in the Premier League. But I believe that him coming to the Mexican national team, something different is gonna happen. Playing alongside Chicharito's been decent for LA Galaxy. I think Raul Jimenez will bag for Mexico, and I expect a lot from him in this World Cup. Next up, we have Poland, and as I said, Lewandowski. I've never seen a bigger player ghost in big games as him, so I'm giving it to Piotr Zielinski, who has been exceptional for Napoli FC this season. Top of the group in Champions League and top of Serie A. Only lost one game this entire season and on an 11-win streak in the league. Piotr Zielinski is my one to watch from this Polish national team, because I saw him against Sweden in the qualifications and he was really important for them. Next up, La França. Amazing players. We even have the current Ballon d'Or holder Karim Benzema. As we all know, he has not performed well recently, so it has to be Kylian Mbappe, especially after his disastrous Euros campaign with France. I think he will have his eyes on this World Cup to take that revenge. Kylian Mbappe. Next up, we have Australia. I watched the qualification game against Peru, and Adam Moy, even he's old, even he doesn't play for a Premier League team as he did last World Cup, he's still performing very well for the Australian national team. And yeah, he's just the glue in that team, and I believe he will have a big last World Cup and will be very important alongside Matreyan, their goalkeeper. Next up, Denmark. Christian Eriksen is back, and he has performed very well for Manchester United this season, and I think he will be a shining star, a shining gem in that Denmark national team. Of course, Denmark, they're much more of a team than one player, but I believe Christian Eriksen will have to shine in this World Cup. Tunisia, it's easy. It's Wahbi Khazri, very experienced Tunisian national team player, most experienced national team player in that Tunisian national team. And yeah, he performs all the time in the AFCON, in the World Cup. He's just that Tunisian guy. So I believe Wahbi Khazri will have a big World Cup for Tunisia. España, it has to be Pedri. Was their best player in the Euros and will yet again be their best player this World Cup. Has been exceptional for Barcelona this season, and yeah, he will be the man that the difference maker for the Spanish national team. He will have those key passes, and he will just hope that Morata, Sarabia, and the other Spanish attackers take their chances. Costa Rica, it's Keylor Navas. Even though he has not played a single game for Paris Saint-Germain this season, he's still that player, and especially when it comes to the World Cup, he will bang and will be, of course, the most important player for the Costa Rican national team. Next up, Germany. One player I'm excited to see at the World Cup is Jamal Musiala. He has the most goals and assists for Bayern this season in the Bundesliga and is performing very well. First season he has actually gotten pretty much starting every game here and there, and yeah, he will be a shining gem for the German national team at the World Cup. Next up, Japan. They have a lot of great players, but most of them are right wingers, and I have to go with the experience in E.G. Kawashima. The goalkeeper has played in every World Cup Japan has been in recently, and he's a really good shot stopper, and he will be important for Japan if they want to make it through the hard group they are in currently. And Belgium, we got Kevin De Bruyne. Season after season, he is just performing. Of course, the Belgian national team isn't the national team it was 2, 4, 6 years ago at the last World Cup, for example, but De Bruyne will have to carry this side alongside creating countless of chances for Romelu Lukaku. Next up, it's Canada, and I'm not picking Alphonso Davies. I'm picking Jonathan David. I think he will be a star performer for the Canadian national team, and yeah, he's a player that will have a big move this summer, definitely from Lille this summer. So have your eyes on Jonathan David. Morocco, it's easy. It's Achraf Hakimi. Even though he is not performing at the highest level at Paris Saint-Germain, when he goes back to Morocco at the World Cup, he knows it's a big stage and he has to perform if Morocco want to survive the group stages. So Achraf Hakimi is the ones to watch from the Moroccan national team. Croatia, we have Luka Modric. I just feel, you know, those vintage World Cup seasons, you know, the Zinedine Zidane, all those kinds of players who just perform at a high level, even at a very high age. And I can feel that going for Luka Modric in this World Cup. Brazil, It's Neymar Jr. I've never seen him this motivated and this fierce about anything in his life before. This World Cup will be Neymar Jr.'s World Cup, at least in my predictions. And of course, he's the player that everyone expects to ball for this Brazilian national team. Serbia, it was between Mitrovic and Dusan Vlahovic, but I'm choosing Dusan Vlahovic. Of course, has done it in a bigger stage and at a bigger club than Fulham, and I believe he's more used to the pressure, even though Mitrovic played in the last 2 World Cups. I still believe Dusan Vlahovic will be very important and the most important player for the Serbian national team. Moving over to Switzerland, after Arsenal's exceptional start to the season, sitting top of the table, Granit Xhaka as the captain has been really important for the Arsenal side, and I think, yeah, again, he will be really important for the Switzerland national team. So, yeah, Granit Xhaka for Switzerland. Cameroon, when the season started, there were a lot of players to choose from, Onana and so on. But now when we're close to the World Cup, it's an easy answer. It's Choupo-Moting. I think he has scored 9 goals in like 13 games for Bayern Munich in his last 13 games, and has been exceptional both in the league and in the Champions League. So no Bundesliga attacks here, and he's definitely the ones to watch for the Cameroon national team. Portugal. As I said, this is what I expect. I do not expect Ronaldo to be Portugal's best player. I expect it to be RAFAEL LEAO because he has been the best Portuguese player this season. Nuno Mendes, Vitinha, of course, some Paris Saint-Germain players. Ruben Dias, Pepe, Diego Costa in goal. Bernardo Silva, Palhinha. There are a lot of great players in this Portuguese national team. Cristiano Ronaldo as well. But I feel it's going to be very hard for Ronaldo because even with the Portuguese national team, he has not been performing well. And I'm picking RAFAEL LEAO as the player that I expect the most from in this World Cup. Next up, we have Ghana, and it's MOHAMMED KUDUS, performing very well for Ajax this season. After they sold pretty much half of their starting 11, he has been performing really well for Ajax and will be the ones to watch for the Ghanaian national team at the World Cup. Moving on to Uruguay, we have Federico Valverde, who is easily his best season so far. Started off banging goals, getting assists, and just doing everything for that Real Madrid, really carrying them. Has been their best player this season, and if you are the best player at Real Madrid, then definitely you're the ones to watch for the World Cup. So Federico Valverde alongside Araujo and Nunes, the new generation in the Uruguayan national team. Look out. But that was it. Every nation, one player who's gonna ball at the World Cup. I hope that my stocks are right for the World Cup. I hope that every player that I mentioned has at least a decent World Cup to the best World Cup. And I definitely believe that at least 3/4 of the players I've chosen will ball at this World Cup, and hopefully we have a great, enjoying World Cup to watch. Let me know in the comments down below if you disagreed with any player mention I named, and of course comment down below what team is winning the World Cup. I'm choosing Brazil. Have a nice day. Oi.